Hello everyone, today HaThan continues to tell 5 stories about life. Please listen. Story 1, The Missed Shoes. In a small village on the Rhône River in France, there lived a shoemaker named Jacques. Jacques was a talented man, famous throughout the region for his exquisite, durable shoes. But he had a strange habit: he often delayed his work. When a customer requested a pair of shoes by Friday, he would promise to make them but then wait until the following week to complete them. One day, a stranger came to order shoes for his daughter's wedding that weekend. "As long as you finish them on time," the father insisted, "they will be a precious gift for her." Jacques reassured him, making a firm promise. But, as usual, Jacques procrastinated. Instead of focusing on the shoes, he got caught up in trivial matters and only started working on them on Thursday evening, when the wedding was only a few hours away. He struggled all night, and by the time he finished, the sun had risen, and the stranger had arrived at the shop, his face full of disappointment. "I couldn't give my daughter a gift on her big day," he said softly but bitterly. A feeling of regret filled Jacques' heart. Realizing that his procrastination had cost him a family a special moment, he began to change. From then on, Jacques devoted himself to doing what needed to be done right away, not letting anything important be delayed. Customers not only praised his shoes, but also thanked him for his reliability. Jacques' story is passed down as a valuable lesson. What can be done today, don't put off until tomorrow.
Story 2, The Taste of Life. In a small village by the Blue Sea, there was a man named Marco, famous for his delicious food and his attentive care for people. He was the chef of a small restaurant, where tourists and villagers often visited to enjoy dishes made from fresh seafood. Every morning, Marco went to the beach to buy fresh seafood from the fisherman. He was always grateful and appreciated every gift that the sea brought. He believed that small things, like a fresh fish or a mussel, all had special flavors. One day, while preparing for a big party in the village, Marco got caught up in trying to create the most perfect dish. He forgot the habit of going to the beach to choose fresh ingredients, and just sat in the kitchen, working hastily. Marco decided to buy seafood from a large store, without paying attention to their quality. When the party began, everyone in the villagers were eagerly waiting. But when they tasted the food, they realized that the taste was not like Marco's previous dishes. The fish was not fresh, and the mussels were bland. Many people quietly left the table, disappointed that the food no longer brought them the same joy as before. Marco saw the disappointment in the eyes of his friends and guests. He felt bitter, and at that moment, he suddenly realized that he had forgotten the little things that he used to cherish. He hurried to the shore, where the fishermen were preparing to return with new catches. Marco asked them for some fresh seafood, thanking them for taking care of each fish, each mussel. Returning to the kitchen, Marco began to prepare new dishes with passion and gratitude. He used the freshest ingredients to create wonderful dishes, and with each bite, the taste of the sea spread throughout the space. As the party continued, everyone returned and enjoyed the new dishes. The light in their eyes returned, and each laugh rang out, making Marco feel happy. Lesson learned: be grateful for the little things. Life is meaningful when you know how to cherish every moment. Marco learned that life becomes meaningful when we know how to cherish every moment, even the little things. From then on, Marco not only cooked with talent, but also with gratitude for life. He continued to create wonderful dishes, bringing happiness to everyone around him, and the little things became an endless source of inspiration for him.
The third story, The Fisherman and the Golden Fish. In a coastal village in central Vietnam, there was a fisherman named Bin. Bin lived with his wife and children in a small house, going out to sea to fish every day to support his family. Although he loved his job, every time he went out to sea, Bin always encountered many difficulties, and many times he returned with empty boats. One day, while rowing out to sea, Bin saw a huge goldfish swimming near the shore. Thinking that this might be his lucky break, Bin quickly cast his net. However, the fish was very clever and easily avoided the net. Bin tried many times but still could not catch the fish. Feeling discouraged, he decided to return home, with a heavy heart because of his failure. When he got home, Bin sat by the beach, sighing and thinking. He could not understand why he could not catch the goldfish, despite his best efforts. While he was lost in thought, an old friend of Bin's, a successful fisherman, visited. Seeing his friend disappointed, he asked, "Bin, why are you so sad?" "You see, I could not catch the goldfish. Despite my best efforts, it escaped. Maybe I am not destined for this profession," Bin replied. His friend smiled and said, "The goldfish is not just a challenge. You need to understand that failure is part of success. If you don't catch it today, learn from what happened." Bin thought about his friend's words. He decided not to let failure discourage him. Instead, he began to analyze what had happened. "Maybe I need to improve my skills," Bin told himself. In the days that followed, Bin spent time practicing. He learned how to throw his net more accurately, observed how the fish moved, and learned new fishing techniques. Each time he failed, he wrote down the lesson and tried to overcome it. Finally, after many times of persistently going out to sea, Bin successfully caught the goldfish. Not only that, from that goldfish, Bin learned many valuable lessons about patience. He became not only a good fisherman but also a good father and husband, always inspiring his wife and children about the meaning of effort. The villagers often said, "He who dares to face failure will reap success." Bin has become a symbol of perseverance and endurance, teaching generations that failure is not the end, but the first steps on the road to success. Lesson learned: failure is part of success. Don't be afraid of failure.
Story 4. Alice's Dream. In a bustling city in Europe, there was a young girl named Alice. Alice always dreamed of becoming a famous fashion designer, but she didn't know where to start. She loved colors, fabrics, and always looked at beautiful clothes in luxury stores, but her dream seemed too far away. One fine morning, while walking through the shops, Alice came across a notice about a fashion design competition for young designers. This competition was not only for talented people, but also had a full scholarship to a prestigious design school in Paris. Suddenly, a fire of desire burned in her heart. "This is my chance," Alice thought to herself. However, after returning home, her initial excitement was quickly overwhelmed by anxiety. She wondered, "Am I talented enough? What do I have to do to enter this competition?" On her desk, she opened a notebook and decided to write down all her thoughts. Alice began to concretize her dream. She wrote down her goal: enter a fashion design competition. Then she broke down the steps she needed to take, researching fashion trends, learning design techniques, and creating a personal collection. Every day, she spent time taking these small steps, from collecting images, sketching, to choosing fabrics and practicing sewing. Step by step, Alice felt her progress. She took design and sewing classes, met people with similar passions, and sought feedback from friends and family. Every time she completed a new design, she recorded her feelings and what she had learned in her notebook. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. Alice confidently presented her collection to the judges. Although nervous, she remembered all the hard work she had put in and felt the satisfaction of seeing her dream gradually come true. The outfits she meticulously crafted showed her personality and creativity. When the results were announced, Alice couldn't believe her ears. She had won first prize and received a scholarship. Tears of joy filled her eyes. Through this competition, Alice not only achieved her dream, but also realized that specifying her goals and making a clear plan helped her overcome the barriers in her heart. Lesson learned: set clear goals. Specifying your dreams makes it easier to achieve success. Alice turned her dream into reality thanks to her determination and clearly defining her goals, helping her overcome her worries and achieve the success she had always dreamed of.
Story 5, Late Blooming Petals. In a small village in Japan, there was a young girl named Yuki. She lived in a family of flower growers and dreamed of becoming a famous artist, but Yuki did not dare to pursue her dream. Instead, she only did odd jobs in her parents' flower garden. She thought she had learned everything she needed from art books, but never dared to practice. One day, Yuki met an old artist named Sora, who often visited the village to find inspiration for her work. Sora was an optimist, and he always encouraged everyone to pursue their dreams. Seeing that Yuki had talent but did not dare to show it, he asked, "Why don't you paint? The flowers around here are beautiful and they deserve to be recorded." Yuki hesitated. "I don't have confidence. I don't think I'm good enough to be an artist." Sora smiled and said, "When I was young, I also experienced that feeling. But life is not always perfect. Every painting starts with an imperfect stroke. You need to learn to accept failures in order to become better." Yuki felt her heart brighten. She decided to join an outdoor painting session that Sora organized. Although she was very nervous, his encouragement gave her strength. At the drawing session, Yuki saw many other artists, each drawing in their own way. They shared stories about the creative process. Yuki found herself gradually immersing herself in the creative atmosphere and began to draw the flowers she loved. Her strokes were not perfect, but they had their own soul. After the drawing session, Sora looked at Yuki's work and said, "You tried your best. Don't worry about perfection. The important thing is that the world is constantly changing, and you need to keep learning too." That sentence was like a bright light in Yuki's soul. She realized that constantly learning from reality and from the people around her was really the key to growing up. Yuki started to spend more time drawing, attending classes and learning about art. She was no longer afraid of failures, but instead saw them as valuable lessons. As time passed, her works became more and more beautiful and emotional. Finally, Yuki held her first exhibition. On the opening night, she felt proud to see people immersed in her paintings. She understood that it was her failures that helped her grow and find her artistic path. Lesson: never stop learning. The world is always changing. So is knowledge. Yuki learned that to become a true artist, she needed not only knowledge from books but also the courage to explore, practice and accept mistakes. Every experience brought valuable lessons price, helping her get closer to her dream. Life will always have changes, and only those who constantly learn can embrace them and grow. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and see you in the next short stories about life.